nigga, you a fool for this. Check my sound scan, turn me up, tell me how it sound, man. The flow's fluid enough to make them drown in it. I got it all like a parachute, fool. I don't even need a tool to make a motherfucker move. Something found it hard, can't find the groove. Wanna step with the best, but can't find your shoes. You either catch a clip, man, or catch a clue. I'm the truth, you niggas selling fly lies in the booth. You're killing me, kicking bull while I'm living the proof. Hustle-holic is what you call me, cause I'm getting this loot. Hands full when we cash out. Making that Lucci what we all about. Folks know the name Saint Shine like a carousel. With it for us hustle game ain't none parallel. Nigga, I'm the man that's still hard as fuck for real. If your girl wanna touch her, let her cop a feel. Nigga, keep playing in the back of my mind. Then the images fade with time. Just when the colors start mixing.
Soloman.
How's it going?
What's up? Soloman St. Germain.
That's right.
Formerly known as the Hazardous One.
Now you know you gotta break down that name.
Oh, that name? Well,
yes, tell me.
Well, let's see. I got into hip hop when I was 6th grade. I met a real influential friend by the name of Anthony Crowell. It was shortly after my brother passed away. So I really needed a void, and God sent me a friend, and he's been my oldest best friend to date, most influential as far as hip hop goes. He goes by the name of Impact, and lots of people probably know him by that name, Impact. I met Impact in 6th grade, and I didn't really start rapping myself till 7th grade. I honestly, early on, I was what they called a biter.
Okay. Tell me what that is.
A biter is kind of like somebody who don't have their own raps.
Okay.
But you bite other people. It's like, but me, I didn't consider myself a biter because I was a really honest person. Mm-hmm. And I asked permission of this rapper I knew because I was best friends with his younger brother, Prince. Mm-hmm. And I found the tape of his brother rapping to the Funkify instrumental, like several raps, like 6 different takes. Then the whole flip side was all a cappella. Just to the snap. And I don't know, man. It's just, that's when my memory activated and I needed something. And it was just great because Prince's best friend was actually my brother's best friend, my brother who passed away.
Okay.
So it was like getting insight that I never got inside my brother's head or maybe his world.
Okay, so when I think of a biter, are you talking that you did this word for word?
I literally, like in 6th grade, I didn't have no raps of my own. I only spit Romar's raps. And like when me and Prince really started hanging out, it was like, and Impact was just a very confident dude, like right off the bat. Mm-hmm. Don't ever let somebody tell you he wasn't. He was probably the most, those 2 guys, Impact and Prince Hayes, were probably the most confident guys I ever met. And that's kind of where I built mine and drew from. But, it takes, to me, that's what makes rap crews, these collection of personalities and fiery energies and sometimes chill energies, but it all cultivates like one big, beautiful hip hop pot of gumbo.
Consider yourself more of a rap artist or a battle rapper?
I'm definitely a rap artist. Now, back in the time, the era that we were a part of and the culture we were cultivating, I could definitely say that's all I was a battle rapper. I lived and breathed for that because it was like being part of a special group or team that had nothing to do with the student body. Mm-hmm. And it's like for a kid like me who was just really quiet and it's like I found identity in rap.
So how does the quiet one battle rap?
That's the funny story. It started in middle school and those 2 influential friends like Prince Prince, we didn't go to the same school, but me and Prince, we both grew up in Springdale on the west side of Long Beach. And he lived right next door. And like I said, his older brother was my older brother's best friend. And I can't lie, at the time, Prince was like, he was best friends with my sister first. But my sister was cool. She smoked weed. She did all the cool shit that I was a dare kid. You guys remember
Just
those?
say no.
Yes, the dare. I was a dare kid for a minute. And like 7th grade I was a very influential summer. So my sister she tried all the little brother buttons to snap me out of it. Then she hit the panic button. When you don't want your brother to be a complete square. She tried to call me a bitch in front of her homegirls.
Wow.
And it was like, yo, bitch ass all. Now, I never used those words, but it's like, it was just something in me instinctually. It just was like, yo, I never threatened my sister, but yeah, I remember I was like, yo, Bonnie, I will fuck you up if you ever call me that again in front of anyone. And yeah, she never called me bitch ass all again. And I smoked a joint that same night. So it was like peer pressure. She told me way later she regretted it. But yeah, it was all molding. But Impact was the one who stripped away all of the insecurities and had to get me back to looking at me like, yo, man, stop saying that other dude's stuff. You're not that other guy. You need to believe in Soloman. You need to, homie, I don't care if you fumble over your words. Now we're going to go to this. We used to go to the big field. Now I went to Stanford Middle School. A lot of people don't even know where the hell that is. Because I grew up on the West. So it's like, everybody's like, yo, why didn't you just go to Stevens? Like everybody and their auntie and their mama. My mom thought out of the box. My mom said, yeah, I'm going to get you on the outskirts of the Long Beach Unified School District where you might be at the last school. But I ended up there and I met one-of-a-kind people.
That's right. So talk to me about the group Hypnautics. Tell me a little bit about the group's potential as a whole and what would be different today if the group actually stayed together.
That second question is very open-ended, but I could tell you about the crew. Originally, it was it started in middle school, really, because we were originally a trio. It was me. Oh, we were actually 4 people. It was me, Impact, Conspiracy outside, or that's Trip saying, or Tyrone. He called himself Conspiracy though in middle school, high school, and which is hilarious because Conspiracy, you need 2 people. This guy named Jason Lyles, and that was the middle school version, but we were called Disconnect, DIZ. And we were on the talent scouts radars. We were on all those little talent shows and stuff like that. And that summer going into high school, we were dabbling with studios. And then Prince wasn't hanging out with my sister no more. And we were all gearing up for high school. And we all clicked up one day because Pat used to come see me. And his brother used to always be in the Springdales. And we kind of just clicked up that way. It was original members, though. I would say it was me, Impact, and Prince Hayes. Okay. Oh, and Wendell Nesbitt. And then I would say after 10th grade, Tyrone Corwell. And because Impact went to Milliken, after he was supposed to go to Poly. But we were both supposed to go to Poly. I originally wanted to go to Poly. I originally wanted to go to Milliken. My brother went there. He wanted to go to Poly because his brother was going there. And he was super Long Beach, Jackrabbit this, Jackrabbit that. And, but our permission slips got crossed. He ended up at Milliken and I ended up at Poly. And I wouldn't say you had to pick a new best friend, but you had to find a substitute. And Boney was right next door, and we were coming out the same project, hopping the same bus to school.
When you got to Poly, is that pretty much what prompted you joining Porno Style later?
Porno Style, I wasn't introduced to Porno Style until we got to a camp called Quaker Meadow. Mm-hmm. And it was like a summertime thing. I forget, my aunt was active in almost all the community churches. I was just like her network. And she used to babysit all the kids, and that was like her business. And so sometimes she frequented this church, sometimes she frequented that one. She had friends all over churches, but she was going to be a counselor. And she told me about it. Naturally, I told Prince. And at the time, I remember it being like almost $200 for a person to go. I can't remember how much it was, but it was a great experience. And the first time we went, that was when we met all of these other groups of interesting inner city kids, some around LA, some around Watts, Compton, Inglewood. And it's like, for me, it was like camp was like its own little boiling pot, a brand new one, but it had samples from all of the other cities. You ran into rappers and people doing the same kind of thing around that age.
Okay. How would you describe your impact on the battle rap culture in Long Beach?
In Long Beach, I definitely think I was a fixture. I was with a strong crew. I was with two strong crews, and I knew the scene, and I wouldn't back down from nobody. It's like you would have to tell me you wanted it with me, or really, really, really make it evident in this cipher. But I know I was a whole nother guy, and I spoke with that. To me, it's like if you listen to my music or played it for somebody who heard me in high school, they'd be like, "That's not something." Because I used to me, I sounded like Busta Rhymes.
Okay.
At least that's the energy I used to battle with. I used to get super juiced up and gassed and all of that.
Okay. So there's this back and forth that I hope that you can clear.
Okay.
There's a battle between Prince and Boo from the Buttheads. I have some people saying that the battle never happened. I have Boo saying he clearly murdered Prince, and you were there to witness it. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, here's the thing. I can honestly say it's gonna sound biased, but I never really saw anyone serve Prince. Ever. And that's on the record, all 3 records. I never saw it. And it's like I never walked away thinking my homie got served. And I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm saying if it did happen, maybe I wasn't completely cognitive that that's what was going on. Because normally, Prince normally didn't really need a lot of help. We always felt like the strongest characters in the room, but looking back, I feel like that's the mentality you kind of had to sharpen your sword to be that, or you couldn't even be in them ciphers. You would get embarrassed easily. So everybody had their own set of teeth. And Boo, I don't know that name. That's me. That sounds like a name I've heard, but I can't put a face to anyone named Boo. If I saw him, I would know who he was, but was he from the All-Nighters?
Who is from the Buttheads? Who is from the Buttheads?
From the Butthead, I really don't know who in. And I mean, I smoke bud, but I don't recall the Buttheads.
Okay.
Like as a fixture crew, there were crews. There was, the All-Nighters. There was Hypnotic. There was Porno Style. There was Dynamic. There was Rhyme Cypher. Them was the ones I actually knew of. Oh, and Def Mob.
Mm-hmm.
But Buttheads, I ain't trying to tread on nobody. I'm just saying, they weren't in my memory banks. Okay. And I don't remember Prince ever getting served by anyone. It's like I would say only Technique mainly because I heard him rap way more than I heard Pac-10. But everyone would proclaim to me that Pac-10 was way better than his brother. But it's like I wouldn't, like, yeah, I ain't pissing on nobody. I'm just saying my perspective at the time, those were the guys.